Okay, I wanted to post another quick video here. It says sink or soar. This is the old code. This is a follow-up video to the last one that I just did. It says the old code. The old code is where politicians care for us. There's poverty, disease, death, stagnant job, shrinking love life, dull mind, powerless, naive, sad endgame path, aging, fattening body, neighborhood violence, and catastrophic error. Says the new code: geniuses care for us, millionaire wealth, perfect health, neo-think success, rekindle romance, surpass intelligence, neo-think omnipotence, exciting journey, youthful sexy body, Disneyland-like safety, the neotech era. It says the neotech revolution. 6 ultimate gifts belong to every human being: profound security, millionaire wealth, perfect health, dream career, dream love, and neothink. The new code will deliver those 6 gifts to man in the street as the ruling class subsides. The old code and the new code are extreme opposites. Whereas you might be broke today, my 6 visions brought to light the technological revolution that raised the ordinary person's standard of living to millionaire status sometime after the turn of the millennium. It says, there I witnessed not only abundant wealth, but we lived nearly twice as long with perfect health and enjoyed the power and romance of famous celebrities. It says that neotech or new technology era, in which we were all very wealthy, healthy, and powerful, happened when the path into the new era of the super technologies became unobstructed by the deliberating powers, namely the 20th century big government. I saw in my vision that at the century end, we stood in the gateway as a historic ascent. The history ascent marked forth for mankind, the first being mankind's rise into the golden age of Greece, the second being the rise during the Renaissance, and the third being the rise into the Industrial Revolution sometime after 2001, which it's obvious we're in. Mankind rose, this time into a breathtaking technological revolution in which ordinary people live like multimillionaires, even without lifting a finger. Our first 20th century forerunner to the great technological revolution was the computer cyberspace revolution, which it's obvious we're in. Over the internet, you could control computer power for free at the end of the century that would have cost millions a few years before. That spectacular escalation of buying power came from super rapidly advancing neo-technology. It says, at century end, neotech spread to the telecommunications and television industries. In other words, how we're getting into 3D TVs. As with computers, cost to communicate plunged towards zero as services and buying power soared towards infinity. The telecommunications and television revolutions became the next notable 20th century forerunners, and the 20th century technological revolution, as televisions advanced from being our favorite fishing holes of entertainment to being powerful streams flowing into the internet. The floodgates of knowledge opened before long. Neotech spread to all industries. I saw my 6 visions cost of new technology eventually plunge towards zero, which is obvious we're seeing that happen. As happened to computers, buying power for new technology soared toward infinity. The ordinary person sometime after 2001 under the new code, which was rich, the great technological revolution, sometimes called neotech revolution, was the next historic advancement of civilization after the Industrial Revolution. However, whereas only the industries became rich during the Industrial Revolution, everyone becomes rich during the Neotech Revolution. The Neotech Revolution came to us in the nick of time, for civilization was sinking into major catastrophes which were circumvented by Neotech. For example, I'll mention 3 catastrophes that had actually begun. New viruses and drug-resistant bacteria mutation broke out into epidemics. Millions of middle-class families sank into poverty. Many suburbs and schools became war zones for violent crime and terrorism. Hello, why don't you just turn on the news and then you'll kind of wake up to that this is true. It says the first catastrophe that was destroying people's lives at the century was a medical catastrophe. Hollywood movies began showing up last decade of the 20th century with the dreaded theme of the near human extinction from deadly new infectious diseases. Unfortunately, those Hollywood movies depicted a very real threat of mankind. Antibiotics were steadily losing power, for bacterial infections were steadily gaining strength by mutating and adapting to the world laced with antibiotics. It says for the first time in 7 decades, medicine was losing ground to infectious disease. Moreover, new viruses were making the jump from animals such as monkeys to humans as mankind inhabited new parts of the world. In a world of extensive air travel, virulent pandemics could swiftly travel across the globe. Doctors and scientists feared the worst, like superflu of 1918, which came from a pig, infected half the human race and killed from 20 to 40 million people. Already several epidemics began like a godsend. However, neotech came to us just in time to pull us from the unthinkable loss of human life. The second catastrophe at the century's end was the economic catastrophe. Companies were downsizing. When the middle-aged person with a good salary lost his job, his family went through hell. To get a comparable job was nearly out of question. Usually that person ended up in a low-paying hourly job with little or no benefits. Hello, like this is in headline news right now. His family standard of living sank and stayed there indefinitely. Millions of American middle-class families had to adjust to the low lifestyle. As the real standard of living continued to drop, both parents had to work. More and more young adults could not leave home, and older adults continued to be hit hard. Like a godsend, however, neotech rescued the millions of poor and middle-class families just in time. The third catastrophe was destroying people's lives at the century end was the criminal catastrophe. Police increasingly faced aggressive violence and bitterness among 10 and 11-year-old children. As this aggressive violence and deep bitterness showed up in the younger and younger age groups, their children's schools became threatened, became war zones for drug gangs. It says, moreover, as crimes proliferated, it came into our own neighborhoods. All along, crime grew more and more violent. Hello, Mexico. In some neighborhoods, killings became a normal part of life. That cavalier attitude towards violent death was steadily spreading. Moreover, terrorism in America was now almost routine and always horrific. As ordinary families were exposed to increasingly violent crime, we lived in fear. Neotech came in like a white knight and saved us from the frightening losing battle with grave consequences. Closing out the 20th century, we were sinking into a major catastrophe sometime after 2001 under the new code. Neotech not only circumvented but actually reversed the emerging catastrophic error. My third vision showed me new medical technologies advancing at lightning speeds, like the computer technology, easily outtracing the rapid evolving infectious diseases. Indeed, neotech, new technology racing ahead like the computer technology, eradicated disease after disease once it began to drive the medical industry until neotech had been driven forward the computer industry only. As a result, both computer breakthroughs and computer buying power soared towards infinity. As in the computer industry, neotech not only would bring us rapid breakthroughs, whatever it was free to function, but would drive cost towards zero. So as neotech began to drive forward the medical industry into spectacular breakthroughs, medical costs collapsed like the computers. We were able to afford extraordinary medical care, including new medical cures and breakthroughs. Everybody enjoyed near perfect health. Like I said, this is the world that we could be dealing with, like I said, as long as we want to let go of the old, possibilities and the things that have been holding us back, Like I said, we're looking at a bright future, if we allow this to be.